The opening text reveals that 16 years after Marcus Aurelius's death, Rome has been ruled by the corrupt twin emperors, Geta and Caracalla. His vision for Rome has collapsed, leaving the city on the brink of ruin. Numidia, 200 AD. A young man named Lucius Verus Aurelius, living under the alias Hanno, works his fields alongside his wife, Arishat. Their peaceful life is disrupted when they see smoke and fire near the gates, signaling a call to battle. They arm themselves and join their fellow warriors against General Acacius and his Roman forces. Despite their valiant efforts, Acacius notices Arishat using her bow and orders his men to kill her. She is struck by an arrow, falling into the ocean and dying, while Lucius is also knocked unconscious into the water. As he drifts between life and death, he witnesses Arishat boarding the ferryman's boat to the afterlife before being pulled back to the world of the living. Lucius is enslaved along with the surviving soldiers and citizens as the city falls. Acacius returns to Ostia, where he is rewarded by the twin emperors, Geta and Caracalla. Geta reveals their ambitions to conquer Persia and India, but Acacius argues that their focus should be on the well-being of Rome's citizens. Ignoring his concerns, Geta denies Acacius time with his wife and collaborates with Caracalla to plan gladiator games in the Colosseum. Lucius and the other slaves are taken to Antium, where they are forced to fight in an arena overseen by a stablemaster named Macrinus. The first challenge pits them against feral baboons. Jugurtha, a Numidian chieftain, captured alongside Lucius, chooses to die in the arena, allowing a baboon to rip into his neck. Lucius, however, fights back, biting one baboon's arm and strangling it to death with his shackles. Impressed by his strength, Macrinus later matches Lucius against Viggo, a gladiator trainer, in hand-to-hand combat. Lucius' performance further earns Macrinus' attention, who notes the intense rage driving him. Lucius reveals his intent to kill Acacius, and Macrinus promises that if he fights well enough in Rome, he'll have the chance to achieve his goal. Acacius returns home to his wife, Lucilla, who has remarried. He voices his frustration over the excessive loss of soldiers, driven by the twin emperors' relentless pursuit of conquest. United in their discontent, Acacius and Lucilla begin plotting an insurrection with allies, such as Gracchus. Macrinus takes Lucius to a lavish party in the city hosted by Senator Thraex. During the event, held before the emperors and senate members, Lucius is forced to fight another man for their amusement. Although he initially tries to avoid violence, he is compelled to fight and ultimately impales his opponent. After the fight, Geta approaches Lucius with a question, but Lucius responds with a quote from Virgil: "The gates of hell are open night and day, smooth the descent and easy the way." But to return and view the cheerful skies, in this the task and mighty labor lies. The gladiator games begin and Lucius, along with other fighters, is brought into the Colosseum. As he runs the arena's dirt through his hands, reminiscent of the late warrior Maximus, Lucilla notices and recognizes him. The gladiators face off against the undefeated champion Gliccio, who rides into battle on his pet rhinoceros. Gliccio brutally kills the others until only he and Lucius remain. Their fight is intense, and Lucius is eventually knocked down. Geta offers Gliccio the chance to spare him, but Lucius refuses to give up, continuing the fight until he impales Gliccio. Following the crowd's demand, Lucius receives the thumbs-down signal and decapitates Gliccio. After the fight, Lucilla retreats to her private quarters, recalling the Virgil quote and the moment she sent Lucius into exile as a boy to protect him. Overwhelmed with emotion, she tearfully realizes that her son has returned. Meanwhile, Macrinus begins to piece together the connection. Lucius befriends Ravi, the gladiator doctor who tends to his wounds. Later, Gracchus arranges a meeting between Lucilla and Lucius, where she reveals his true parentage, that he is the son of Maximus. However, Lucius angrily rejects her, furious about being sent away as a child and blaming Acacius for Arishat's death. He orders Lucilla to leave his cell. Desperate, Lucilla turns to Acacius, pleading for his help to protect Lucius. Lucius continues training and later participates in a naval battle with the other gladiators. He leads them to victory by disabling the enemy ship's oars and ramming it down the middle. During the battle, Lucius attempts to shoot Acacius with a crossbow, but the bolt narrowly misses and lands between Geta and Caracalla, who interpret it as a direct attack on them. Meanwhile, Macrinus confronts Thraex at his home, demanding repayment of a large debt. To save himself, Thraex reveals the plot to overthrow the emperors, despite having been part of it. Macrinus forces him out of the house but keeps the information. Using this, Acacius and Lucilla are brought before Geta and Caracalla and accused of treason. Geta declares they will be forgotten and orders them imprisoned. Macrinus persuades Geta to punish Acacius by forcing him to fight in the Gladiator games. Lucius grows closer to Ravi, learning that he was once a slave who earned his freedom through the Gladiator games. Ravi shows Lucius a shrine dedicated to the gladiators, including a wall where Maximus' name is crossed out. Maximus's armor and sword are still preserved, along with his famous words, "What we do in this life echoes in eternity." Acacius is forced to fight soldiers of the Praetorian Guard in the arena, defeating them all before facing Lucius. The two engage in a fierce battle, but when Lucius has Acacius at his mercy, he refuses to kill him. Acacius professes his love for Lucilla and his loyalty to Maximus, declaring he would have died for him. Furious, Geta orders the Praetorian Guard to execute Acacius, who is struck down by a volley of arrows. Lucius condemns their cruelty, declaring that if this is how Rome treats its heroes, its people should expect even worse. He walks away as the crowd chants his name, or rather, Hanno. Later, Macrinus visits Lucius in his cell, questioning his decision to spare Acacius. Lucius speaks of his vision for a fairer Rome, but Macrinus disagrees. As unrest grows in the streets, Macrinus meets with the emperors, who argue over how to handle the riots. When Geta insults Caracalla's views, Macrinus seizes the opportunity to manipulate Caracalla. He preys on Caracalla's resentment of always sharing power with Geta, convincing him to act. Caracalla confronts his brother with a dagger, hesitating as Geta tries to reason with him. With Macrinus's guidance, Caracalla slashes Geta's throat and decapitates him. Lucilla visits Lucius once more and gives him a ring that belonged to his grandfather. They reconcile, and Lucius embraces his mother for the first time in years. He entrusts the ring to Ravi, asking him to deliver it to a general in Ostia in the hope of rallying an army to their aid. After taking the throne, Caracalla appoints his pet monkey, Dandus, as consul and elevates Macrinus to a higher position of power. Macrinus presents Geta's severed head to the horrified senators, using it to assert his authority and force them to appoint him as the leader of the Praetorian Guard. Later, Macrinus visits Lucilla in her cell, revealing his bitterness toward her grandfather, who had enslaved him, and his plan to end the imperial bloodline by claiming the throne for himself. Macrinus convinces Caracalla to put Lucilla and the other conspirators in the Colosseum, leaving Lucius as her sole defender. The plan is to incite a riot if Lucilla is killed, creating an opportunity for Macrinus to assassinate Caracalla and seize power. Upon learning he must fight to protect his mother, Lucius breaks out of his cell, kills Viggo, and inspires the other slaves to revolt. Donning his father's armor and wielding his sword, Lucius leads the men in a battle for their freedom. The gladiators clash with the Praetorian soldiers in the arena, sparking a full-scale riot as arrows strike spectators, causing chaos and inciting them to fight back. Amid the turmoil, Gracchus is killed. Taking advantage of the confusion, Macrinus kills Caracalla by driving a slender bodkin into his ear, and then fires an arrow into Lucilla's chest, fatally wounding her before Lucius can intervene. Seizing a horse, Macrinus rides off to join the Praetorian Guard and prepare to face the incoming army at the gates. Lucius pursues Macrinus, cornering him just as the two armies come face to face. Mounted on his horse, Lucius charges at Macrinus, leading to a final duel. Macrinus nearly defeats him, but Lucius draws strength from his mother's words, turning the tide. He severs Macrinus's left arm before delivering a fatal blow. Addressing both armies, Lucius implores them to end the senseless fighting. His words resonate, and both sides lay down their weapons, chanting in agreement. That night, Lucius enters the empty arena alone. Kneeling in the sands, he speaks to Maximus, mourning the loss of both his parents. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.